everybody, my name is Tanya, and this is the third book haul that I'm filming today. But this is the last of it. It's the last of it. For now, at least. So I've got another very strange, eclectic mix of things here to haul today, and let's just dive right into it. So the first book I've got is something that I've been seeing, so you'll have been seeing a lot on BookTube lately, and that is Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. This is a graphic novel about a supervillain and his psychic Nimona, and from everything that I've heard, it's going to be a lot of fun. As I said in my last haul, I don't tend to buy graphic novels, at least at this stage, because I haven't been able to justify the cost to myself, although given the amount of books I've been purchasing, I don't see why that's an issue. But anyway, my other thing too is for things like Saga, I know one day I'm going to want to own them because they're amazing, but at this stage, while they're being released in volumes, I know that there'll be some kind of bind up or special edition released at the end with everything when it gets to the end, so I'm kind of hanging out, not wanting it to end at all, and then at the end, when it's kind of all published and some kind of edition comes out that is going to collect it, then I'll put my money into that, I think. But this one is already complete, so I didn't see any harm in picking this up. This one is based on Noelle Stevenson's webcomic, which is now being collected together into this edition, and everybody that I've seen read this just has loved it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and Next up, I have Affinity by Sarah Waters. I've picked up another of her work, so I think there's only one left now that I don't own, and that is The Night Watch. I grabbed this one for a buddy read that's going to be taking place soon. I really like these editions of her work, so I'm glad I'm being able to collect them in those editions. So I'll just have to track down The Night Watch, and then I'll have a complete set, at least at her book stand at the moment. This one I don't know all that much about, but I know that I'm going to want to read everything by Sarah Waters. I read The Little Stranger last month, and this one also is meant to be quite a spooky, eerie kind of read, so I'm really looking forward to it. Next up, I have 3 random purchases that I made when I went to a bookstore to get some books for my niece's birthday. So that was a rookie error, but anyway. The first one I have is Rush O by Shirley Barrett, and this is an Australian novel. And yes, it jumped out at me because of the cover, because this cover is just gorgeous. This one is set in 1908 in Australia. It's set in the small town of Eden, which is on the coast of New South Wales, just over the border from Victoria. And I stayed in Eden quite a few years ago now on a trip with my mother, and so I immediately had that connection to it when I was reading the blurb. This one follows a family of whalers and some kind of bond that they form with a pod of killer whales. It's meant to be very funny with a lot of drama and misadventure, and it sounded really fun. And as I said, I've got that kind of immediate connection to Eden from the trip. I think I was early teens at that stage, maybe 13-ish. So it was quite a long time ago now, but I still remember that holiday, and yeah. Next up, I've got another Australian one, and that is Palace of Tears by Julian Leatherdale. This is something that I'd not heard of at all before seeing it in the bookstore. I'm not a huge fan of faces on covers, but the spine of this one is absolutely gorgeous and is what drew me to it in the first place. And then having picked it up and reading the blurb, it sounded wonderful. This one is set in the Blue Mountains, which I visited on a different trip with my mother a few years after the one to Eden. This one deals with the tragedy that happens in 1914 at a clifftop hotel in the Blue Mountains, and then in 2013 a granddaughter of one of the people that was there finding out what actually happened, and it sounded wonderful. And again, because it's somewhere that I've been, that kind of spoke to me, so it's funny that I picked up 2 books that happened on 2 trips to New South Wales. And then the third thing I got that day is a complete change from the last 2, and that is The ThreeBody Problem by Sixon Liu. This, of course, is the winner of the 2015 Hugo Award for Best Novel, and there was quite a lot of controversy with the Hugo Awards this year. I wasn't following it very closely, but have gleaned lots of things from the SFF community on BookTube. But instead, things turned out well in the end. I've heard fantastic things about this book. I really do enjoy science fiction, but I haven't been reading all that much of it lately. But this one sounded really great, and I don't think I've ever read any Chinese science fiction, so I am really looking forward to getting to this one. Next up, I've got something that I ordered as a result of my last book haul, and that is the 6th and final book in the William Shakespeare's Star Wars series. This one is Tragedy of the Sith's Revenge. The idea behind these ones, the fact that they've taken the Star Wars stories and turned them into like a Shakespeare-style play, is just hilarious. I read the start of the first one, just William Shakespeare's Star Wars, and it starts with R2-D2, and it's like boop 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 boop, and that just made me laugh. And yes, so I think this is going to be really good value, and now that I've got the full set, hopefully I can plow through them soon. That one came with a new book depository bookmark I haven't seen before, and it looks like this. And then the last two things that I've got for this book haul could be called the Jen Campbell Made Me Did It section, although it could be just BookTube Made Me now, but it started with Jen Campbell. The first one of those is A Portable Shelter by Kirsty Logan. This is Kirsty Logan's new short story collection. Kirsty Logan, of course, has been everywhere on BookTube lately because of her novel The Gracekeepers, which I've still not read actually, but I've heard so many fantastic things about this. And this is actually a limited edition hardcover of the collection. The paperback comes out next year. But they only printed 1,000 of these, and I had not ordered it. I decided, nope, it's okay, I'll read The Gracekeepers first, and then I'll get the paperback next year. And then people started hauling it, and I instantly regretted it. It's not available through bookstores anymore because they're all sold out, but I was able to pick up an edition, not too expensive, through eBay, which I was very happy about. So I now have my own edition of this one, and am really looking forward to this. From what I understand, this is a series of fairy tale inspired stories that a lesbian couple are telling to their unborn child, and everything that everybody has said about it sounds amazing, and I'm sure I'm going to love Kirsty Logan, so I'm so pleased that I snaffled this up. I should have just ordered it in the first place. And so the last book I've got, and when we're talking about Jen Campbell Made Me Do It, it's probably fairly obvious what this is going to be, but so many people have been reading this one now and just loving it, so it's a collective BookTube Made Me Do It, and that is The Dumb House by John Burnside. I'm sure you've heard this described a lot lately, but this one is the story of Luke, whose mother used to tell him the story of the Dumb House, which was an experiment to raise children in silence to test what language they would develop, and this story really stays with him and leads him to maybe experiment in his adult life, and it is meant to be really disturbing, really wonderful, and it sounds right up my alley, and I cannot wait to dive in. So this is the last of my recently purchased books, at least at this point in time, which is the 26th of September. As always, if you've got any questions about these ones, or if you've read any of these, let me know about them down in the comments, spoiler free of course. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!